Right, so it's been about a week, I think, since we last recorded anything. It's been a week since I've been in here doing any work. I can't remember where we're up to be honest, in the whole story of this refurb. I'll tell you what, Casey Neistat's got nothing to worry about, because vlogging is not my wheelhouse. But basically, not been able to do anything here for the past week, because we've now got another project on the go, running in parallel to this one. So basically, I won't bore you with the details of it here. We will get to it, but we've scored some funding from the National Lottery to do another project. So I've been busy putting all that together. I'm not going to document that in the same way though, because basically it's an online project and everybody's going to be sort of working remotely. So there's no sort of visual aspect to it really, at least not yet. But it is an interesting project, but that's sort of taking up my time as well now, which is inconvenient because I'm sort of chomping at the bit to get this place up and running and open and bringing some revenue in. But what I do remember doing last time we recorded was telling you an outrageous lie. So basically, I think last time it was struggling to figure out what it was that I was not liking about the layout and messing about with the furniture, and I came up with a layout that I did like, but I realised the thing I didn't like was the lighting in here. The lighting's disgusting. It's like medical lighting, very stark, very office-like, not the sort of place where not the sort of lighting that makes you feel relaxed and comfortable that you want to eat under. And so, because I'd figured those two things out, I'd nailed the layout, I'd figured out what this sort of weird thing was that wasn't clicking for me, and I think I got a bit excited, a bit carried away, and I was like, oh my god, we're nearly there, everything's done. And no, everything's not done. So there's still plenty to do down here. That's what I'm going to be cracking on with today. So I'm going to show you what it is that still needs doing, basically. So over here, well, tabletops for a start, they need doing. And I think I might have mentioned that they need doing, but I made it sound a bit easier than it's going to be. So basically, I bought these tabletops, and they're covered in vinyl, and I was just going to stick some Fablon sticky back plastic, that like wood effect over it. Nice and easy, but yeah, they're too small, so you can't tell on the camera. I've had to buy these bigger ones. In fact, let me just bung them in front of each other. That might make a bit more sense. So, God, this is not professional. I'm trying. So there you go. They are way too small. So the ones I've had made there are the actual cafe size table that we need. But the problem with them is they're just MDF, and the edges are a bit rough. So they're going to need sanding down. Yeah, they're going to need sanding down. They're going to need PVA glue, a layer of that put on to give the sticky back plastic something to stick to. And then I've got to stick the plastic on, make sure it's all nice and neat, which, if it's anything like putting a screen protector on a phone, is going to be a disaster. So that's going to stress me out. I can't have any bubbles, any creases, anything like that. It's got to look as perfect as possible. And then once that's done, they all need fixing to the tabletops. Then I wish it was that easy. An even bigger job is, you see here, we've already got two tabletops there that put together will be the right size, but there's no legs and they need screwing together. So the only legs I've got are these bar table legs, which are clearly way too tall. So for this one table, I've got to screw these two tops together. Then I've got to put the Fablon over them. Then I've got to hacksaw these legs down to the right size, and then stick them under there. Then, what else? In fact, I'm going to try and... Hang on a minute, I'm going to show you all the crap I've got to put together. Right, so we've got two toilet roll holders to go upstairs in the toilets. Oh yeah, bathroom signs to go on the doors. One of the locks upstairs needs replacing. Oh, 2 of the locks upstairs need replacing. 2 toilet flusher handles, because can't flush the toilets at the minute. What's this? Oh yeah, so these are brackets to fix all the tables together, and some to fix the bar tables to the wall, because they're a bit rickety. Hacksaw to chop the tables down. Oh God. And oh, I forgot to mention this as well. So keep rabbiting on about the lighting. So I looked into getting some diffusers that just fit straight up there in the ceiling tiles, but the cheapest I could find them was £25 each, and I've got 10 to do, which is 250 quid, and I'm not paying that just for some diffusers. So I thought, no, I'm going to make my own. So I've got 11 meters of diffuser material that they use in photography, and what I'm going to do is, I need to get the wood still, but I'm going to make my own little frames, sort of like painting frames. You know, we get painting, it's like a wooden frame and the canvas is wrapped around it. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some frames like that, and instead of like an art canvas on it, I'm going to wrap the diffuser around it. Then I'm going to stick magnets to it, and then hopefully it'll just clip to the ceiling lights, and yeah, it'll soften the lighting a bit, and it'll make it look a bit more homely, like little square light shades hanging over these disgusting fluorescent tube lighting things. Oh, and then this is the Fablon stuff. It's not technically Fablon, I can't think of the actual name for it. Sticky back plastic, but that reminds me of Blue Peter. But there you go, sort of fake wood looking stuff, and it's dead thin and flimsy. I'm not convinced that it's gonna work, but it cost 60 quid, so it better add. So yeah, that's all the little jobs I've got to do today. So as I always say, let's just crack on, shall we? It turned into a bit of a thing, this. So I've put the tables together, screwed the bases to the tabletops, and then put a coat of PVA glue on there. The reason I've done that, I don't know if I explained this, is because I've got MDF tabletops, and basically I'm thinking when I put the sticky vinyl, the wood effect vinyl over it, I'm worried that the glue's just going to soak into the wood and then it'll slowly peel off over time. So I've sealed it with PVA, but just like the banisters and the door frames upstairs, decided to paint those because they were navy blue. They needed a coat of white paint over them first, otherwise the navy blue would come through the new paint. So I put one coat of white on. It wasn't enough, the blue was still coming through that, so I had to put another coat on, and then I've started painting the grey over the white. I've done one coat of that. Just realised today that the white's coming through the grey, so I've got to do a second coat of grey, so 4 coats altogether. And anyway, I think the same thing's happening with these tables here. So when at the moment, when it's like fresh, it looks like it's covered quite well, but then you see on these ones here, some patches are just, I mean, it has to dry and be see-through, but it doesn't feel any different. And when I look at it close up, it hasn't got a decent sheen on all of it. So yeah, same with this one. This looks even worse. So I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm not sure whether that means I'm going to have to do 2 coats of glue on all the tables, or whether to just risk it and see what happens. This is one of those be kind to future self moments, but I've done that much bleeding painting. I'm just bored of it now. It's really starting to annoy me. The thing with this is, see, when I've been sort of editing these videos together, especially with the time lapse, it makes it look easy. It makes like time fly by. Well, you know, of course that's what time lapse is supposed to do, but it makes it look like with the painting and stuff, you know, maybe I was doing it for like half an hour or something like that. I think I've put in maybe 6 or 7 hours so far on the painting on the banister and the door frames, and that's just taken like an hour and a half. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Right, so while I'm waiting for the glue to dry on those tables, I'm gonna have a crack at this. So basically I need to cut those bar table legs down to the same size as these cafe tables. Now ideally I'd get this done professionally, go to like a metal cutters or whatever, because I've cut metal before with a hacksaw and it's an absolute nightmare to get a straight cut, and if I don't get a perfectly straight cut, when I bolt the top back on, the top of the table is going to be wonky. Like I say, it's hard enough to get it right when you've got the right equipment. I mean, to be fair, this is one of the few things I've actually splashed out on. It cost about 20 quid, that hacksaw. It's supposed to be top of the range. Usually I'd spend like 3 quid on something like that, but I bought a decent hacksaw to try and get a decent cut. But I haven't got a workbench. I can't afford a workbench. I don't know anyone that's got one. I've asked around to clamp the leg down properly while I do it. So I'm completely winging it, like I have been doing all along. But this is one of those where if I balls it up, I mean, there's no way of replacing the table leg. But yeah, there's not much else I can do. So yeah, let's have a go, see how it goes. Right, so I just want to jump in quickly here. So for any DIY folk that are watching this and thinking, what the hell are you doing on that ladder, that's ridiculous. I admit it might look ridiculous, but it's actually not as ridiculous as it might appear. It's working. Not that I know what I'm doing, I am winging it, but on this occasion I think I'm winging it in the right direction. So basically, I had it down on that chair because I haven't got a workbench. I started cutting it, and as soon as I was cutting, I knew I wasn't going to get a straight cut all the way through. Although I have to say, that saw is amazing. Like, I was a bit reluctant to fork out 20 quid, but yeah, I mean, I do a bit of DIY myself, believe it or not, and I've got a hacksaw at home, a cheap one, and that just feels completely different. So I'm sold. Maybe when it comes to tools and stuff that are actually an investment, maybe being a skinflint isn't the best approach. But anyway, regardless of the saw's amazing. Because I haven't got the workbench to clamp it down, do it properly, I just knew, I could feel it wasn't going to go right. So what I decided to do instead of try and go right through with the saw, instead I've decided to just sort of, see if I can show you this. I've decided to just sort of, is that going to focus? No. Oh, there we go. I've decided to just score it all the way around and just go nice and slowly along the edge of the masking tape. And I think that way, I mean, I've even went a bit skew-if there by a millimetre or so. But I think if I just keep scoring it round and round and round like that, that's going to give me the best chance of getting a clean cut on the first go. I can't afford to get this wrong. So, you know, rather than just try and rush through, get it done in 5 minutes, I don't care if this is going to take me a full hour, just slowly scoring it until it falls in half. I think I've done it. I think I've got away with this. I'm chuffing myself. Well, let's not speak too soon. I will be chuffing myself if it works out. Let's see if it works out first. Right, so that's that done. I don't know if you can see, when you roll it, there is a slight kink in it. It's not perfectly straight. I've just tested it then. When I put the tabletop on it, it is a little bit skewy, but it's way better than if I'd have just tried cutting straight through in one go with a hacksaw. So, and the other thing is, I can't really tell from here, but the bases of the stools have actually got like little screws on, so you can adjust for like wonky flooring and stuff. So I think I'm going to get away with it, which is a relief. So I just need to cut that second one now. The only problem is, I think that took about 20-25 minutes to cut through that one, and obviously the blade is going to be much blunter than it was when I first started, and I haven't got a spare one. So yeah, I won't bore you with another video of me cutting the second one. I'll get that cut, and then I'm going to try putting the tables together. Right, there you go, both cut. Now I actually nailed it better the second time around. So this is the first one, just about stands up, bit dodgy. This one, look, no movement in that one at all. Nailed it. So now I just need to chuff with that. So now I just need to cut these, again, sorry DIYers, I'm going to call them screwy things down. Need to get them cut down, and then attach them to those floating tabletops. Right, so if we weren't winging it enough, I'm at the point now where I'm trying to screw the table base to the tabletop, and the screws that I bought to do that with, again, just not being meticulous enough. They're long enough, but the head of the screw, if that'll focus on it, the head of the screw is too small, so basically it's just going straight through the hole. It's not holding the base on at all. So then I've gone scrounging around the building, seeing what I can unearth, and then I found these screws. So the head on those screws is perfect, it's wide enough, but the screw itself isn't long enough. So then I've done a bit more scrounging, and I found these screws. So these will do it. Now I need, 8 per table. I've only got 6 screws in total, and the way I've managed to get them to actually fit is they are a little bit too long. The end of it is going to poke out of the top of the tabletop, so I've had to snip the ends of the screws off with a pair of pliers, which is harder than you'd think, but they're just about perfect now. But I've only got 6 of them, so I'm going to put 3 on each table for now, and then I'll have to go to the shop and buy the rest and do them on another day, because otherwise it just means skipping another job for the day, and I can't keep skipping jobs. I'm losing enough time as it is, so winging it again for now, and we'll do it properly at a later date. Right, there we go, that's them done. The legs have been cut down, and the tabletops have been put on, and they are almost at exactly the same height. They just need sort of fastening together, and I can make up for the unevenness with the feet on the table legs. But I did get carried away, so I was thinking I did them 4 tabletops before, and I've just done these ones, but completely forgot these ones here. These the bar stools, bar tops, them table tops aren't screwed to the bases, and I haven't got enough screws to do it now anyway. I haven't got the energy either, actually. I don't know if you can see that. All my palms of my hands are all swollen up now from snipping the ends off the screws with the pliers, especially that one that's going purple here. So I ain't got it in me for doing any more screwing and drilling and all that nonsense anyway. So the next thing I wanted to do was to get the vinyl, this stuff, put on these tables, but a couple of problems. There's always problems where I'm concerned. So the first is, I got onto the phone to the people I bought this off. I got on the phone to them. I just wanted to double check that, because that MDF that I've used for them tabletops, like sponge, just soaks everything up. And I've put this one coat of PVA glue on to seal it. So I thought I'll just ring and check, and said, you know, I've PVA sealed it. Is it going to be okay? Do I need any extra glue or whatever? And the woman said, how many coats did you give it? And I said 1, and she goes, you're probably best giving it another coat. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that, because I haven't got the time or the patience for this to go wrong. So my hands are a mess anyway, so painting is all I'm fit for the rest of the day anyway. So I'm going to give all those tables another coat, and then I'm going to, luckily I don't have to do it with this table. This is already nicely sealed, just need to clean it. But the other problem is, this is my skinflintness coming to bite me in the arse again. I've not given myself any leeway with a vinyl. I've gone and bought, of course I have, exactly the right amount to cover all these tabletops with absolutely no extra whatsoever. So it would have been better of me to buy an extra tabletop's worth to practice and mess about and get it wrong. But no, I'm not giving myself any leeway, so this has to go perfect first time, or it's going to be a balls up. So this should be interesting. Right, all done. So I've given those 4 tables the second coat of PVA, and I've caked it on this time, so there should be no excuses. They're not having a third coat. I don't care if it looks patchy. So while they're drying, I'm going to have a crack at putting this sticky back plastic stuff, Fablon, vinyl, fake wood, whatever you want to call it. I've watched some YouTube videos. I'm fairly confident I can do it. A bit panicky about the corners, that seems to be the dodgy bit, but yeah, I'll have to see how this goes. So I've washed everything down, dried it. Apparently that's all the prep I need to do, and yeah, let's see how this goes. Right, there we go. That's one done. So that's sort of before what it did look like. That's what it looks like now. I've got to say, I am sort of impressed with the finish. I did think, when I first saw it on the roll, I thought it just looked like some sort of, I don't know, tacky 80s fake wood. I mean, that's essentially what it is, really. Maybe you think it still looks like that, but I think now it's on the furniture. I like it. I think I've done a pretty decent job. Tell you what though, it was a pain in the arse to put on. What I didn't expect with it, it's super thin, real fragile. It's almost like cling film. I don't know if you can see on this little bit here. I sort of creased the vinyl over on itself, and it's created like a permanent scratch in the surface. But yeah, other than that, not too bad. I think I've done there's a couple of ways you can do the corners on these things. One is you can sort of heat it up with a hairdryer and bend it round, and I can't be arsed with that. So I've just done it, cut it with a Stanley knife. It's left a bit of a sharp edge on it, but tough. And then underneath, this is going to bug me. This is just me being a pedant, but if you notice on that side, it's like a thin overlap, and on that side, it's thick. So, I mean, no one's going to look under the table, I know, but I'll know it's there. So I need to think of get some sort of tape to just put a frame around it and neaten it all out. And that's about it. I think it's, it's not bad for a first attempt. So I'm confident now. I reckon I can get all the rest done neatly. But I have to say, that took like half an hour, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 small tables and then the 4 big tables left. So I mean, even if, you know, I get a bit of speed up half an hour each, that's still what, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours worth of work. So better get on with it, eh? Alright, more problems. So I've started putting the vinyl wrap on these MDF tabletops, and I don't know if you can see, or you can see, and think the camera's quite forgiving. It always looks worse in real life, but I mean, it even looks terrible on camera. It's just highlighting and showing up every little imperfection all the way across. So sort of in contrast to these that were already vinyl wrapped, putting the vinyl on these are perfectly smooth and they look amazing. And this just looks horrendous. The shit thing is, the MDF by itself is perfectly smooth, but it's like a porous surface, so you can't just put the vinyl on top of it because it'll soak the glue up and it won't stick properly. So you have to put this PVA sheen on it, which is, you can see here, the shininess. But in putting the PVA on it, it sort of fossilises every brush stroke in the glue, and then that just shows up in the surface. And you see there, that's where like a bristle's come off the brush, dried in the glue. I've picked the bristle out, but it's sort of fossilised in the glue there, and I hate it. I don't like it at all. But I'm stuck now because I've spent the money on these tabletops to replace those tabletops, because those tabletops are too small. I mean, you can see here, I've been reconsidering whether it's worth it, but it's more like a 1.5 tabletop. It's thinner than 2 chairs together, and it just, for a table for 4 people, everyone's just be too cramped on it. It's too narrow, and from both sides as well. And so when you've got one of them with all the chairs around it, I could put the vinyl on this and it'd look amazing, but it's too small. If you put 4 seats around that, it looks ridiculous. So I've got these ones cut to be the right size, but they look ridiculous because of the crap surface. I don't know what to do. Right, so I've decided, I'm shooting on my phone by the way if this looks a bit crap, because I've still got the time lapse running on the camera. I've decided to just carry on wrapping the MDF tabletops. So even though they look crap with the vinyl on, I think it's the best decision, because the way I've weighed it up is, when people sit down in the cafe, what's worse, like sitting down and feeling like, oh my god, this is a bit cramped and uncomfortable, or, oh, look at these tables, they're a bit bumpy. Do you know what I mean? It's like a comfort thing versus aesthetics, and, well, that makes the answer sort of obvious, really. You don't want people coming in here and being uncomfortable. If it looks a bit ugly, so be it. Do you know what I mean? And maybe when I sorted this lighting out and softened it a bit, it'll be a bit more forgiving on the way the tabletop looks. So, yeah, let's carry on. 6 down, 3 to go. Oh, by the way, I'm recording on my phone again if the sound is a bit rubbish, because it's a lot of hassle keep switching between vlogging and time-lapse on that camera setup over there. And I tell you what, if I can improve the sound, I might switch to doing all my vlogging on my phone, because yeah, it's a lot less messing about. But anyway, a bit of good news, I suppose. So these, I mean, you can see the imperfections in these tables quite clearly. However, this table here, this was the first one I did, and it turns out that that was the worst table. So the other 3 aren't actually quite as bad as that one. So they'll do for now. So I didn't think I was going to be able to do these 3 tables today because I'd run out of screws, but the more routing I keep doing around in this place, I keep unearthing all sorts of interesting artifacts. But here we go, I found some. The only problem is they're a little bit too long, so let me just quickly show you. You put them in there and they go right to the surface. So like the other ones, I'm gonna have to snip the ends off them, and my hands were a mess before, so I'm having to resort to doing it with my feet. So right, so there we go, screw in the pliers, put it down there, and then use my big fat ass to apply some weight to it, and now the screw's gone somewhere. Oh, there it is. So there you go, look at that. The end snipped off nicely, so that won't quite reach to the surface on the table anymore. So there's 8 screws per table, so I just have to do that 32 more times. Right, there we go. That's all the screws done. All the ends snipped off nicely. There we go. So I only ended up doing 12 in the end, because I'm thinking surely 4 per table is plenty. So, oh, and by the way, just so you know, this isn't just me being a skinflint, you know, because I'm sure some of you are watching this thinking, bleeding hell lad, can you not just get some of the right size screws and save yourself some time? Part of it's me being a skinflint, because I do like to save money and that, but the main reason I'm being that fussy is I think I've probably only got about 2 weeks worth of work left here before we can start thinking about opening. And like, what are we now, like beginning of October, the COVID cases are rising pretty steeply as well, and so I'm just trying to minimise contact with people, trying to not go out, and because I'm hauled up in here all by myself. It's nice and quiet, I don't have any contact with anybody, and so I think the last thing I need is to get sick. And so the way I'm going to end up doing that is by going out, going to shops, standing in queues and what have you, and I just rather not do that. And so yeah, just being a little parsimonious, and yeah, not just a total skinflint. Like I said before, there is a method to my madness. But anyway, let's crack on and get these last 3 tables done, because that's it. That's all the vinyl work done then, and then I can start unwrapping the chairs, putting all the tables in place, and yeah, start making it look like an actual cafe. Right, there you go, all 9 tables done. Taking me 5.5 hours, believe it or not. I did stop for 15 minutes to get something to eat, but yeah, 5 hours just to do that. And look at the place now, it's a bleeding tip. So what's next? I think next I need to get tidied up clearly, but I'm gonna get putting the place back together. So I'll get the tables put in place, I'll get all the wrapping taken off the chairs. I'm going to try and put everything together now, so it's back to sort of a bare bones cafe. And then I think the next job is these. So I've got to make some sort of square lampshade type things that I'm cobbling together myself. Basically a wooden frame with some diffuser over it that's going to be stuck to them with magnets, and hopefully make the lighting a little less harsh and yeah, a bit more homely. Right, so I think probably about 6,000 times over the course of this refurb I've said, alright guys, we're almost there, we're nearly there, a final furlong, like 95% of the way there. And I think I was just sort of trying to be optimistic, or just lying really. But this time we are 95% of the way there, so let me give you the final guided tour before we stick all the equipment in. So there we go, nice clean cafe shop ready to go. What I might do is sort of intersperse some shots of the virtual plans that we put together, just to show you what the vision was and how it panned out. Don't worry about all that crap up there, that's the needs to go back home table. But yeah, there you go. I'm chuffed with it. Finally I'm starting to feel, yeah, a bit more optimistic about it all. There is a few little details that need to be taken care of. So like these, I need to put all these seat cushions on. They just sort of make these metal chairs feel a bit more thematic, I guess. And then you see there, like, I've got wonky tables that need sorting. Some of the feet, I've got like some of the wrapping still stuck on them, on the chairs. There's a few random stickers, sellotape on the floor, things like that. Oh, I need to bolt the tables to the walls, but I'm not going to bore you with all that stuff, it's not very interesting. I've still as well, I've got to move all this crap out of this room. I think at one stage, didn't we get this nice and empty? And I filled it up with crap again. And then there is the, still got to finish off upstairs, like the doors, I still haven't put the doors back on, I've not quite finished the painting. But I'm bored of that. To me that's sort of detail work, so I don't think I'm going to bother filming any more of that. It just makes everything harder than it needs to be. So I say we're 95% of the way in here. The final 5% is sorting them lights out. So I need to make some diffuser shades for them. So I'm going to explain this. So basically I needed to make a sort of, the idea I came up with, so I think I've said these sort of plastic diffusers for these lights, it's just a sheet of square plastic, 60 by 60 centimetres. They're like 25 quid each. I don't know if it's just me being bad at sourcing stuff, but I couldn't find them any cheaper than that. So I thought I'd have to make my own. So the way I've decided to do it was sort of make a, similar to a painting canvas, an art canvas, but so make a sort of wooden frame and then wrap this photography diffuser material around it. And luckily I was able to get these, because the lights are 60 by 60, so I was able to get these 60 centimetre long pine pieces of wood pre-cut off eBay, packet of 40 of them, which is perfect because I've got 10 lights to do. And so my original idea based on the art canvases was to sort of cut the ends off at a 45-degree angle. That's what I bought that mitre template thing, whatever they're called for, and then staple the corners together. But I didn't know if I could be arsed, because what is it, 40 pieces times 8 times 2 corners, so 80 corners. And I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a crack at just being lazy. And one of the few occasions where being lazy has actually paid off. So all I've done is I've just stapled the corners straight together. I've done it on both sides as well, and I mean, you see that's decent enough. I mean, it doesn't need to be structurally amazing or anything, because all that's going to happen is once I put the diffuser over the frame, I'm going to stick a magnet in each corner, and then it just hangs up there covering the light. So fairly simple. So that's, well, I say it's simple and I'm hoping it's going to work. So rather than get like a production line going and make all 10, I'm going to do one and try it, see whether it all works out, and if it does, then I'll get the other 9 made. Right, there you go. So that's the final product. So as you can see, just wrapped the diffuser around the frame, stapled it in place, stapled the corners up, glued some magnets, one in each corner, and that's it. I've not actually tested it yet, putting it up there. The only thing that's a bit crap is the diffuser came just sort of folded up in a bag, and it would have been better if it was rolled, because it's left these creases in it, which, I mean, I suppose I could take it home and try ironing it, but I just haven't got the time. I'm sick of the messing about. Maybe I can steam it later. I might take the creases out, or maybe I'm just being pedantic as usual. But yeah, it's not great, but hopefully it'll look better than that. Let's try it. Oh God, what could go wrong? Oh, well, the magnets are working. It's a good start. Oh, satisfying click. I've got to say, I don't know that it's made any difference. Maybe I need to, of course I've only done one, and I'm going up against, what, 10, 12, 14 other lights here. But even in this corner, oh God, those magnets definitely work. Yeah, there's something, you can just tell in that corner a little bit, but it's only very subtle. But I'm hoping another 8, 9, 10 subtles added together will equal something decent, because just based on that, as usual, I don't know if I'm happy. There you go. So you see the difference. So that's what it looked like before, and that's what it looks like now. Let's see. Right, another job done, but which took way longer than I expected it to. So I wanted to do 10 panels. I had material for 9, but I've only done 8. So a couple of reasons. The first reason is I didn't want an odd number of panels. Oh my god, I'm knackered. I'm gonna have to go home in a minute. So I didn't want an odd number of panels for a start, but mainly what I figured is, so like I said before, this panel I've done up here, I'm not sure that it's taken the edge off quite enough for me. It's weird, it seems to have it's almost like it seems to have changed the quality of the light, but not the brightness of it, if that even makes sense. It makes sense standing here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put all these panels up in a minute. I haven't actually tested it, but I'm thinking if it doesn't take the edge off quite enough, if it doesn't dim the lighting enough, all I need to do to sort of further dim the lighting is just cut out another piece of, just buy some more diffuser, cut another piece out and just lay it in there. It doesn't need to be glued or stapled on the same way, and because it's just on with these magnets, I can just take them off and put them back on and adjust it to however I need it to look. So I might even as well, there's even the possibility of buying that sort of photographic film stuff, so I could even put like a layer of the orange clear film in there to completely change the nature and the brightness of the lighting. So that's pretty good. But anyway, so I didn't do that 9th panel because it leaves me some diffuser left over to sort of experiment with. So anyway, let's get them tested now and see what it looks like. Right, there we go. I think I've done it. I'm pretty sure I've done it. I haven't checked the before and after on the time lapse, but I can definitely tell a difference. I'm knackered. I barely even speak. Yeah, it's just taking the edge off. It doesn't feel like a hospital waiting room anymore. It's not, but it's not overdone it either. It's a nice subtle change. It's not too bright. It's not too dark. And actually running out of material has actually served me pretty well, I think, because see here, that's where the last 2 are, just before the table there. So the lighting's still nice and bright in this middle section where everyone grabs the food, which is probably a good thing. You want to see what you're eating, you know, whether there's any airs in it or dust on it or whatever. There won't be in our cafe, of course, but you want to see, as a customer, you want to be able to see what, you know, the quality of the food that you're picking up. Same for the retail section, that's nice and bright, so all the stock will be sort of nicely lit up. But then from here onwards, here onwards, the lighting is just a bit more subtle, and I just think it feels a bit more relaxing for somewhere to come and relax and eat food. And it is called the retreat after all. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. It ended up costing me like 40 quid, 45 quid to do that, instead of like 250 to just buy the diffusers. I don't know, sometimes I just wonder whether it's worth spending the extra money just to save the time and the energy, because I'm goosed. I know I should be feeling like more and being more enthusiastic and cheerful about this, because this is officially the end of stage 2 and start stage 3 now. So stage 1 was bringing it up to a nice clean empty shell. Stage 2 was bringing all the furniture in and getting the lighting sorted. Stage 3 was to bring in all the cafe equipment, the plates, the cups and everything, and get the retail section stocked up, bring the cash register in and get ready for opening. And I should be all cheerful and excited, but I'm just tired. I'm starting to feel ill, tired. So I'm going to go home. Well, I'm going to clean up first because we've got to muck the place up again, but I'm going to get cleaned up and I'm going to go home, get some sleep, maybe have a day off, and then crack on with stocking the place up and getting ready for opening. So I'll see you on the next video.